Hello everyone. In today's session, we are going to cover concepts related to virtual machine, and in that primarily we will be speaking about how high availability can be provided using virtual machines. What is the purpose? So first, before we understand how high availability is being provided by Azure and all that, first understand the importance of a high availability to an organization. What is meant by high availability? It is your services which are running in uh, Azure or that virtual machine, whichever, wherever it is, uh, it should be available 365 days, 24 cross 7 without any issues and all that. That's called high availability. Your applications are highly available. The purpose is simple that there will be a continuous traffic which will be coming to websites or your applications which are running. Let's assume here Amazon, Netflix, anything. There's a continuous traffic that comes in, and there should not be any downtime to those. What happens if there's a downtime? Then the customers would lose the faith on that, or will visit less often compared to, and there's a survey already for that. So organizations prefer their services to be highly available so that they will not lose data and they will not lose customers, and in turn that will leads to uh, saving their revenue and continuously growing and all that. Keeping that in mind, what is the how virtual machines will face high availability, any availability issues when they run applications? What is the risk which an organization can face or you can face in general? If you can think, the machines are saying that if you are creating machines, virtual machines and all that, there are certain things which is going to happen. Azure will try to update their machines, their entire rack of servers which are being placed. They should be doing their updates, right? There could be a driver updates, there could be an OS update, because end of the day, through the virtualization, they are configuring, setting up the entire Azure. In that case, Murray, how do they update their servers? Azure will update their servers. On top of it is only your machines are coming, right, on the virtualization concept, which we call Hyper-V or whatever it is. Concept dwara, they are trying to helping us customers to create their machines, whatever it is and all that. But their softwares ni update చేసుకోవాలి. That means Azure has to update, or we, in terms simply we call, they have to perform their maintenance activities. Okay. ఇది కాకుండా ఇంకేం ఇష్యూస్ ఉండొచ్చు. There could be other than the maintenance issues, there could be a physical devices kada. Suppose the virtual machine which you have tried creating at Azure Virtual Machine, it's running end of the day from a specific hardware and all that. What if that hardware went down? In that situation, how would your machine run? It won't run. So then, even that point of time, you will face availability issue. So uh, other than that, you yourself, you will be running your machines and you have to take care of your patching and all that of your OS, whichever you are trying to run. So there are different ways a issue can incur when your applications are running on a virtual machine. In general, so if I go ahead and show this, if you are preferring an OS disk premium SSD, there will be a particular SLA for that. The way the machines will be available. For that, you can just go to Google and I can just type SLA for Azure VM. They are trying to provide SLAs and all that, but what I wanted to show is SLA for Azure VMs. Now you see here, for all virtual machines that are a single virtual machine that you're creating with a standard HDD hard disk drive. When you're going for storage basics and all that, you would be understanding the difference between SSD and an HDD. HDD is a hard disk drive. When you are preferring a standard hard disk drive, HDD, the SLA that will be provided is 95%. What does that mean? Service level agreement. That Azure is saying that I will commit 95% of the time in an year, or the time where you are going ahead using that virtual machine, 95% of the time where you're using it, that will be up and running. 5%, you need to give us the liberty that the machine can go down, and in that kind of case, you can't blame us, is what it is. So, is what they are trying to say. That's a service level agreement because you're choosing Azure as the Azure VM as the service to host your infrastructure. And in case if it is down, you should not be blaming Azure, Microsoft. For that, this is the commitment they are trying to say. The SLA commitment they are giving is 95% when you are trying to prefer a virtual machine with a standard HDD option. So what is 95% and what is the 5% point of view? So 365 days in 5% of the time it's not available. That is like 3.65 uh, into 5. That's closely coming as uh, closely around 18, 16, 17%, right? 18, sorry. 18 point around some percentage or 18 days in a year is what, if it is down, you should not be questioning us, is what they're trying to say. Now, if you're not okay with that kind of SLA, then you can prefer a standard SSD option where they're saying that if you're going ahead and creating those kind of things, then the availability will come as 99.5%. That means 0.05% of times in 365 days, your machine's availability uh, will be not, you should not be questioning us in case that goes down. So there's a very good chance that it can go down also. So that 0.5% is like 1.8 uh, days in a year. Now you're not okay with that, then you can go ahead and create a virtual machine with a premium SSD or ultra disk where 99.9% SLA we can provide. That means 0.01% of 365 days. Uh, that comes as less than was so by 18 it's coming as 0.03 days. Like closely around few hours if we are seeing it around 8 hours to 10 hours, something like that. 10 hours, the machine can be chance that it won't be available. That's what they're trying to say. Okay. Now, if you want still more availability, you don't want at any, even in 65 days, there should not be even 1 hour of downtime and all that. You want it. Now, that point of time, they're trying to say create a virtual machines using availability set as the option. And we can provide the SLA of 99.95%. That is like 0.05%. What is 0.05%? That's actually 0.05 is like 0.18 days. So it closely comes as not even a couple of hours, 2 hours, something like that. 3 hours of downtime you can face if you're choosing an availability set. Now, if you are choosing an what do you say, an availability zone where your virtual machines are placed in different availability zones, then you can actually get 0.99.99% SLA. That's closely around 0.01% of downtime can happen. That's like 0.00. 1 into 365 days. So hope you're understanding how, based on the availability options which Azure is providing, if you prefer your machine to be placed accordingly, the downtime of your machine faced will be very less. Now, the downtimes can be different reasons, which I have already explained, where Azure is trying to provide maintenance of their servers. During that time, your virtual machines can go down and can reprovision and all that. During that point of time, your applications which are running can go down and come up again. And simultaneously, there could be a physical device there which is there in the data center that can be corrupted, or that can be like if the power socket is failing, or if some network device is failing, some issues happening, and because of that, your service won't be available. So that point of time, they don't want organizations to coming and uh, claim any damage from them. The reason is, companies will be not be happy in case if there is any issue which encountered by Azure, and because of that they lost some millions of money. They will actually just go and to the in legality procedures, they will go and say that, see, we are paying this much money, you have promised us that, and we lost this many millions, so you should be responsible in terms of paying back to us. So Azure is, before itself, they have committed their SLAs and availability. So the interview questions which you can face is, what are the availability options which Azure is providing? And based on the service, the availability options are changes. Now, in terms of virtual machine, the availability options which you can see are availability set and availability zone. What is a virtual machine scale set? That we'll discuss later on. But there are two availability options which Azure is providing. One is availability set and an availability zone. Now, what availability set talks about, within single data center, your machines, the way, so suppose let's take that it's a your machines, this is all floors. Okay, so the entire racks of servers are being placed here. Now you are creating, assume that you're creating three VMs, VM1, VM2, VM3. Now the chance of these three VMs getting created within the same floor, within the same location, where within the same power socket and all that, would be very high. Now, let's say that Azure is trying to do maintenance of their machines. Now, that point of time, let's say there's one rack. From that, these three machines got created. Now, when this entire rack is getting updated, all these three VMs will go down. So you created n number of VMs also. There's a very good chance within that one single data center, within one specific rack, they can get created, or there could be an impact during that point of time. Now, what availability set is saying that, see, if you are choosing an availability set as an option, within one data center, I will create the VMs in different locations. So the way they are trying to create is, there are two concepts which are being utilized in this: UD and FD. Update domain, update domain, fault domain. So they will place the VMs in different UDs and FDs. So in this way, let's say that UD0, FD0 is VM1, and UD1 and FD1 is VM2. UD2, FD2 is VM3. That means when your machines are getting updated, they will get updated based on their UDs. So if Azure will try to update. So if you're creating your VM4 again, it will be placed probably in 0, and then again in 0, something like that. Okay. Uh, it will try to create your machine something in this order, uh, so that two, 2 0, 2 1, 2 2. In this order, it will go in an order so that it will distribute all that. So that will be availability set will be taking care of it. Where the machines are being placed, the more machines you're creating, in those availability set you're trying to choose the option. They will place it in that order. And UD, when what will happen is the machines which are in specific UD, those will get updated uh, in one go, so that the other mesh with other UDs. So if I see that VM2 and VM3 are in different UDs, so in that kind of case, if when VM1 is getting updated, these machines will not get updated. Those actual hardwares won't get updated. In this way, so one machine is going down. There are other machines in your infrastructure are not going down because of Azure updates is what. Okay, and what is FD is trying to say that your machines would not be coming from a specific physical set of things. Like because of a network switch, you would if your network switch is failing, this VM1 will fail, not with the rest of the not the other VMs. The reason is because the network switch or power socket are different for different FDs. So as you placed your VMs in different FTs, they will be if there is any physical issue happens, that is not going to be incurred because of that physical device issue or something like that. Now, how can you place your machines in different UDs and updates? That you don't have a control. You are only having an option to create an avail set, and you're going to say that I'll use two domains or three domains, and I'll choose five update domains, something like that. So based on this, what is going to happen? Whenever your machines are getting created automatically, and you'll choose the availability set as the option, uh, each machines will be placed in their in the organized format, so that no machines, not all machines are placed in the same physical uh, uh, device locations, or same wherever the Azure is going to do updates simultaneously, not all the infrastructure will get impacted. So this way, the FDs and UDs are playing their role in availability set. Next, if you are preferring availability zone is an option only available for for regions or locations where there is three data centers. So in the previous sessions, I've already explained what is the difference between a zone and a single region. A region, if a location is a region, and that location is when it is having single data center. Okay, and that point of time, the only availability option you can choose is availability set. Okay. Now, if the region is, so for example, Central India is a location is a uh, availability zone because it has three data centers within that location. So when that is the case, you can choose an availability set as an availability option, or availability zone as an availability option. So availability zone is saying that I will place VMs in different data centers. So when the update is happening here, Azure updates are happening, this won't be happening, right? So the VMs will not go down. When there is any physical device issue, or any power socket issue, or a network issue and all that, this VM will go down, not the other VMs. So what is happening? If you see, high availability is being provided when you're preferring availability zone. Availability set is also being provided as an option, but you wanted more SLA and all that. Based on that, you will choose it, and you will place your machines accordingly. What if the entire region goes down? Then you need to actually replicate your servers. That is also another uh, solution which Azure provides, but that is like from one region, you're replicating the entire data to another region. Okay, because availability set and availability zone are available are the availability options within one specific location. What if that entire location goes down? Then the entire application can go down because of this. Now, organizations don't want that kind of situation. They can replicate from one region. R1 to region to another location entirely. They can replicate their machines. But what is the disadvantage here? You're being charged for this, and you will also be charged for this. So you are getting charged 20K for this per month. Then you will be charged 20K per month for this month also, because seamless spec and all that. Now, in terms of, it will not be 20K and all that. Organizations will end up paying for each machine probably 30K and all that. So imagine there are 50,000 machines or 10,000 machines or 500 machines. Then what is the charge? If they're trying to replicate all machines, what will be the charge? So it's a very conscious decision they have to, organizations have to take, cost effective ones. Just because they wanted high availability, more amount of zeros organizations work. They wanted more amount of nines to happen. Each nine will trigger equally 10 times of billing. Okay. Each nine, the more nine you wanted to keep, the more amount of money you have to end up spending for each billing, which you can see. That is what it is. So availability zone and availability set. And let me show you availability zone point of view. I'm creating a VM. I can create a VM1, and I can keep that in zone 1. Okay. If I wanted 3 VMs, I'll say VMs. If I'm creating VMs in three data centers within VMs, each one is a zone. So VM1 will be created in 1, VM2 will be created in 2, and VM3 will be created there. So uh, you can also choose to create each one like this. I'll create VM1 first. Then after I completing creation of that, I will create VM2, and I will choose that to be in zone 2. After I creating VM02, I can create VM03, and I can place that in zone 3 like that. Again, I can, once I'm done with that creation, I can go with VM04, and again I'll place that in zone 1. There are only 3 data centers within a specific region location at this stage. Probably after, as Microsoft Azure evolves and all that, they may increase the locations, or they may increase within one specific location more amount of data centers and all. And that is the concept which is there. And when you go with availability set, I already explained there are UDs and FDs. So what is in UD? Update domain. Update domain helps in terms of Azure machines when are placed in different UDs, they won't get simultaneously updated, or maintenance activities will not happen simultaneously on the same machine. I mean, all the machines when they're placed in different UDs, because each UD by UD the maintenance activity will happen. So only once the UD0 maintenance activity is completed, UD1, UD2 maintenance activities will go. So this way your machines are pretty safe. And what is FT is trying to talk fault domain. Fault domain is saying that your the power switch or the network switch or network devices or the devices which are being utilized will be of different ones. So even some device issue comes, there will not be an impact for this. Now, I've already explained about authentication point of view yesterday, how that works in SSH point of view and a Windows point of view. Uh, Images. So you can see here, there are custom images which you can also create along with the built-in, which is market is providing. Suppose Windows Server 2022. This will have a standard software installed. What if you have organization comes with a uh, that they are creating 100 VMs. Now each VM they create, they need some set of softwares, software 1, software 2, software 3 installed in that. Now that is not being provided by things because these softwares are or we call it as dependencies are needed for your application to run. Okay. Then when those softwares are not there, you go ahead and one virtual machine you create and you will install all those and you'll check your application is running properly. Now you will then create this as an image, whatever you have installed in it. Okay. Now you will make that as an image and you can from that image, what we call it as custom image. From that image, custom image, you can build VMs. What is the advantage of that? If I am installing VM1 softwares, dependencies, everything to run the application smoothly, and it takes me 3-4 hours for that. Now I have to create 100 VMs, 100 into 3 hours, that's 300 hours, right? Okay. So even if I take some business days, then it will take me at least 50 business days for an single individual to sit and set up this entire thing. Instead, if I can use this feature, custom image feature, where I can spend some 3 hours, and then from that machine, I can make a custom image which will generate within some uh, 30 minutes or less than that, 15 minutes or 10 minutes, 5 minutes. It will create a custom image for me based on, and from that I can create virtual machines, 100 virtual machines. Now the time taken to create 100 virtual machines may be around, let's say, 5 hours. If you use an automation and all that, it will be less than that only. But let's say assume that 5 hours. That means you entirely completed within one day the entire configuration setup, right? Okay. Whereas if you go with a general way of each one manually going and installing and all that, it is going and taking 50 business days. Closely around 2 months, if at all we look at it, or 2.5 months. So we don't want this kind of situations to be faced, and we will use that feature which I'm right now saying custom image. Now, organization, when I say that this kind of situation is there and all that, they will have every week developed with new images for new applications, and then should be a different images should be there. Let's take that there is image one for an application one, there is image two for application two, there is image three for an application three. Now the image they're going to create every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, they will come up with a new version. Version one, version two, version three, and all that. Now, how do you manage these kind of versions of your image? Means like after 3 years, you will have different versions of images, and you wanted to go the last year's version because it went well and it created less amount of issues and all. Now, how would you pick that one? It's very tough, right? So to manage that, that's where the service comes is compute gallery image. Compute gallery image will help in managing multiple images of different versions. Okay. So these are all the services which are there. Let me show that. I have given the theory so far. So if I just open custom image, you will see this is a custom image. I can go ahead and create machines, or if I want compute gallery, Azure compute galleries. This is the one which will help me in terms of organizing multiple custom images based on their versions and all that. Now, what is more difference between this one? They're going to ask you questions based on this. So, either in the interview or the certification. What is the difference between a custom image and a compute gallery image? This is managing multiple images, and this is one specific image and of one specific version. It can't even have multiple versions in custom image. Now, also, if you're creating a custom image in central India, then using that image, you can only create machines in central India. Now, if you have compute image in compute gallery, uh, you not only you can have multiple images, but you can also based on you can have multiple versions, and that versions will be there. Along with it, if at all it is you made an image and you stored it in compute gallery in central India, but still you can choose that image and you can from that you can create images in different locations. So in East US or in Japan or in Germany, whatever it is. Okay, in different locations. That's an advantage. So availability point of view and all that, it's there, but understand it's a amount of huge amount of data you're trying to store. Suppose you have 100 images and 100 images like in last 3 years, it each week or 2 weeks or per month, there are new versions which are coming up. That means closely around 36 versions would have come for each image. 100 images into 36 is like 3600 images you have. Now, if that amount of data that is being there for each of that one, based on that they will get charged, and then it's a very costly one. So you have to be uh, ensuring that uh, you manage your images very properly and you delete the older ones based on the taking a final decisions and all that, and keep one base image like last year one best image you'll keep it, and like that, and last 6 months one image, and the last 3 4 months versions you may keep it handy, something like that. You can take decisions with your organization, and based on that you can manage it and bring down the maintenance issue, bring down the billing and all that. So this is what it is. I haven't created much, but you can use uh, Azure Virtual Machine. If you go learn, and if I go to tutorials, Windows, let's take, see, create a machine. They're trying to talk about it. How to create a VM image. They're talking about it. And what else? I've already shown how to deploy a VM application in that availability. How do I create machines in availability zone? I've shown it that you select zone 1, zone 2, and based on that, you can select your machines to be placed in different zones. And that's what they're trying to talk. Now, not availability zone, but you wanted availability sets and all that, you can choose that. So they're showing through PowerShell and all that, but you can also do it from portal, certain things. This one, changing the availability set, they are trying to show it from portal because that is not their option from portal, may not be there. But my point is, whatever concepts which I have explained, they were trying to talk about it, and you can pretty much see that from here and understand more better. So this is it for today. In tomorrow's session, we will be going ahead and talking about disks. How do we add data disks? How do we manage those? And how do we do encryption? What are the type of encryptions methodologies which as Azure Micro is providing for the VMs? And how these are all simple ones. How do you move a virtual machine from to a resource group to a different subscription or a different region? And the VM sizes we have already spoke to a minor way, but we can even discuss more detail about it. And then we will jump into virtual machine scale set after that, next to next set. Thank you, team.